Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This episode of Ham Nation is brought to you by ICOM. For more information, visit ICOMAmerica.com/HamNation. And by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Introducing Rate Shield Approval. If you're in the market to buy a home, Rate Shield Approval locks up your rate for up to 90 days while you shop. It's a real game changer. Learn more and get started at rocketmortgage.com/HamNation.
This is Ham Nation, episode number 381, December 19th, 2018. We wish each of you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and thanks to all for keeping Ham Nation on your screen. Yes.
Merry Christmas.
He's coming. He's going to be here. So get ready. Okay. You got to be really good because he knows what we're doing. Oh, it's always fun. I love Christmas because I get to play a lot of Christmas stuff at the theaters and stuff around. Merry Christmas to all of you. We got a really fun show tonight. So take charge. Take charge. I have to start off with a very personal thing. You remember last summer I told you about this guy. This is WA4FTY. And he and I met. He's a Harvey Wells fan. And in the background, you'll see a bunch of Harvey Wells stuff that he built. Harvey didn't build a receiver. He did. Okay, so I go visit him. And we had a great time, he and his wife. He's just fabulous because the guy builds a lot and he's fun. And he gave me a little transmitter at the time. He loaned it to me that he had found. This transmitter was made in Japan in 1955. It's a mobile transmitter. And he called me yesterday and said, your Christmas present's there. And I said, it is. He gave me the Mars transmitter for Christmas. Wow. That little booger. He had this in his mind. Now, understand, I put the bow on it. But can you imagine putting this underneath the dash of your Miata? But here's the part. I'm going to show you. I'm going to take it apart because you can take it apart really easy. And check this out, gang. Now, this is what keeps me going in ham radio. It's stuff like this. Check this thing out. Now, it's how many years old is that, all you mathematicians? 1955. Look at this. It's gorgeous. Isn't that pretty?
Wow.
Clean.
Yeah. And what's really cool, it just doesn't have a dial. Look at that. It's got a vernier dial, 1 to 10. I mean, this is a hot dog stuff for 1955. It's 5 watts on AM, and you put that in the front of your car. So what did I find on eBay a couple of weeks ago? Thanks to good old eBay and Wayne, there's the station monitor for it. So when you go into your station, look at this. You plug all your speakers. It's got a phone patch. It's got an SWR bridge. Is this cool stuff or what? 1955. Look at that.
And that's Japanese?
You guys could probably say, that's not nothing to get excited. That's something to really get excited about for me. It doesn't take much, you know. Anyway, thank you, Wayne. He and his wife are such dear people. And I got to get real serious. You know, we talked about the club in Lake Havasu. They've been on with us before. Well, the ladies of that club has been putting together, using T-shirts from the manufacturers. And they've got the quilt all finished, and you can bid on it. There it is, K9WZB1 at Gmail. And this is going to be cool. You know, these things, I see them go for $1,000 at some of the Amish places. But this is all the T-shirts. There's ICOM, there's ours, and several others. Anyway, there you go. Bid on it. That make them happy people. Why not? Why not, huh? So there you are. I've had my little Christmas for myself. Mars Thunderbird. Okay, so let's see what else is happening. George, you're all Christmas up tonight. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, Bob. It's going to be a warm Christmas down here this year, it looks like. Right now, it looks like it's going to be a wet one, but that should dry up quick. We got a new segment tonight. We've been asking for your photos. Randy wanted them to put together a new segment, and we're going to have that on tonight.
This is going to be like the maiden voyage segment, right?
Yeah, this will be the first one. Some good stuff.
Yeah. What you building?
Yep.
And looky there. We've got Dale with a bunch of good stuff. How are you, Dale? You looking good?
Hey, pretty good, Bob. Merry Christmas to you and everybody out in the chat room, and Gordo and George. Good to be here. I always like to do the one right before Christmas. It's a lot of fun. We get to wear the hat and decorate the shack just a little bit. So tonight we've got 3 videos, real short one with English subtitles from Finland celebrating their Independence Day. That's kind of interesting. And got a really neat video on the Winter Field Day. That's always been fascinating to me, and a gentleman has one that he is allowing us to show tonight, and I think everybody will enjoy it. And we got some photos that you sent over during the past several weeks, so it's going to be fun on the video segment tonight, Bob. Go ahead.
Okay. We've got to promote that address to everybody. Come on, you have pictures. We know you do. So please send us pictures, good, bad, whatever. Let's have fun with them. Let's see what happens. Oh, I forgot one thing. I got out my very special microphone tonight. I don't use it, but maybe once a year. See if you can see what it says on.
Les Paul. Huh. Cool.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
I worked with him the last 2 years of his life, and he was going to autograph a mic, and I had a whole bag of them, and he said, I want to do the pink one. He was a great guy. Talking about great guys, here's the greatest one right here. Gordon West. How are you, buddy? What's happening for you and Sue's down there in the warm territory?
All is well in the warm territory, and we're looking at all the excitement going on this week and a couple of weeks from now. Colorado Park County Radio Club is having its special Santa each evening, December 17th to the 24th, from 7 to 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Special event station, tune around, look for N0P. Actually, you don't have to tune around. They're going to be on Brandmeister Worldwide Talk Group 91, Mike AB0RR. Thanks for that information. And everybody get prepared. Coming up in 2 weeks, it's Kids Day, Saturday, and the Sierra Nevada Amateur Radio Society.org. Barry, K6ST, says they're going to really have a full day of activity for kids. So think about bringing kids over to your shack. And finally, Ham Radio U, that's the Limemark and other clubs in Brookville, New York, holding their 20th Ham Radio University. So plenty going on during the holiday season. Bob, back to you.
Okay, very good. Well, I need to tell everybody, Don is not with us. He's not misbehaving. Well, I maybe shouldn't say it. He's at the Christmas party of his radio station tonight. So I guess he's okay. But he's at a Christmas party where he and Don went. So no worries. Don is he's still alive. And so we'll find out what's going on with that later on. And Amanda has some smashing video. She was a big Hollywood star this week. She went out to see all the people at Last Man Standing was on the air. She's got pictures. So there you go. We're going to come back and see what she has to say about that visit They all looked like they were having a lot of fun. So let's go get on with the show and have some fun. Again, Merry Christmas, everybody. So here we go, Gordo. I know you got a bunch of shots, so let's see what's going on in Costa Mesa.
Well, thanks so much, Bob. Unfortunately, the bad news is we had a hard drive failure, but the good news is Suze and I, with Suze and Jason, W6AUX, they figured out a way to get these photos of what occurred in Arizona 2 weeks ago. So, Victor, if you want to go ahead and roll the shots, who knows what's coming up next? This was the Superstition Amateur Radio Club in Mesa, Arizona, and they had quite a display on their big ham radio gathering 2 weeks ago. And these antennas, the major multi-band antennas, go up in a hurry. And the Superstition Amateur Radio Club, they drew hundreds of hams, especially for the big swap meet that opened up even before the sun got up. And this is great. We brought our communications unit down there. That's the one whose alternator decided to take a rest, but the Bio-Inno lithium iron phosphate battery got us all the way home, no problem. Most interesting is Roger and Kim. Roger KD6CNY, and their operation is unbelievable because they do ham fest literally all over the country. Wired Communications, look up wiredco.com. Anyway, look at that Wurlitzer, Bob. Isn't that a beauty? He completely restored it, and it was in hundreds of pieces, and he does a great job. So any of you hams thinking about doing something a little different but in electronics, think about all that Roger can turn you on to in getting all these electronics rewired. And that Wurlitzer, what a job. But he went completely through it, and let me tell you, Roger gets all the way down to board and component level. He had that playing well. You know, at HamFest, it's always fun to check out the vendors. The husband and wife vendors usually get some of the most unique products. And I asked Roger, I said, many times that when people bring in products from a HamFest, you have to sort of guide them in the right direction. And he says, yep. He says sometimes they'll ask for a PL259, but they really want an SO239. So he, at these HamFests, marks every one of his little boxes with exactly what it is. Now look at those jumper leads down there. I didn't realize there was a big difference. Well, I guess I did when they would poop out with more than a half a milliamp going through them. And Roger says that where he gets his jumper leads, they are all professionally soldered with the alligator clip on each end, and the wire gauge is better than 30 or 40 gauge. It's about 18 to 20 gauge. And, of course, Roger is the LED guy at wiredco.com. And if ever you want to do LEDs and you're worried about noise, Roger checks them all out before he brings them in quantity to make sure that they're not going to be noisy. Well, he's got some neat things. Look at the little blue guys down there on the second level. I saw these in action, and I couldn't believe it. They're for cell phones to check both the voltage coming out of the cell phone charger as well as the amount of current. So if you've got a cell phone and you're really wondering, is it going to work right or whatever, go to this website, wiredco.com, and check out these neat little voltage adapters. Now, we tried one here, plugs in, and now this is not like $10, not like 12, but like $4. It was $3, but I convinced him he had to kick it up $1. It measures right now about a quarter amp, charging a regular cell phone, and it's going to charge it up to 5.08 volts, and it alternates back and forth. This is a neat deal if you've got cell phones and you want to know how they're doing. Also in the comm van, we have our voltage monitoring device using one of his plug-in adapters. This plugs into the cigarette lighter socket, gives you 2 USB outputs, and it reads both voltage as well as current, so you know how much current is going to be charging your setup. So, Victor, if you want to come back to old Gordo, you know, absolutely endorse all of those husband and wife teams that I see at multiple ham fests around the country. And Roger and Kim, they're going to be at Quartz Fest, and we'll be talking about all of the activities, the Thunderbird Ham Fest coming up in Arizona and so on. But these little devices here, just unique. So if you ever get a chance and you see rods at a ham fest, take a close look at all of the stuff and be sure and ask them about what we need to go from here to there, because I didn't realize that when people ask for the Baofeng reverse SMA, Roger says that's not accurate. The Baofeng is really a female SMA, and it's the Wi-Fi that uses the reverse SMA. And he told me all about coax cable, the RG8X, requiring the adapter, the UG176. The 175 is for 58U. And he talked about the PL259s and actually had some demonstrations of the amount of current that can be handled. That'd be RF current with a gold-plated pin versus just a regular silver-tinned copper pin. And, of course, the insulator on the center pin, Teflon the best, Delrin next to best, Bakelite always good. None of those will warp the pin when you put a hot soldering iron to them. But if you get a cheap PL259 from another source, you may find that it's a plastic insulation insert, and as soon as you heat up the center pin, it shorts out. So the very best to Raj and Kim, and a very happy holidays to all of you from the gang here at Ham Nation. Now, we're setting up for Quartz Fest. We've got the big ICOM ready to roll, so let's find out what's happening with ICOM America.
For the love of the holidays, surprise your favorite ham this season with the gift that's on their hot list. The holidays are just around the corner, and ICOM has plenty of cheer for everyone. IC7610, the SDR every ham wants, and just in time for the holidays. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The ICOM IC7610 is a direct sampling software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of a SDR. RF direct sampling system, 110 RMDR, independent dual receivers, and dual digicell. IC7300, changing the way entry-level HF is designed. This high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and SD memory card slot. ICR30, raise the bar on DC to daylight receivers. Powerful yet easy to use, the ICR30 is packed full of features you've come to expect from ICOM. Built-in GPS and Bluetooth, dual bandwidth recording, high-speed scan, and there's an Android and iOS app available. The perfect stocking stuffer, the ID51A Plus 2 provides new modes for extended D-Star coverage. Enjoy integrated GPS, independent AM/FM receiver, and free Android apps. Terminal and access point mode, send and receive text messages and pictures. DV fast data mode, and easy FM repeater setting. Visit ICOMAmerica.com/amateur for more information on all the great ICOM radios.
And you can tune in and enter to win after each episode of Ham Nation. Go to ICOMAmerica.com/HamNation, register to win. Great swag prizes like T-shirts and hats, and you'll automatically be registered in the drawing for the monthly grand prize, which for December is the ICOM ID5100A dual band, dual watch D-Star transceiver, large touchscreen display operation, DV-DV dual watch and DV-FM, built-in GPS, DV-FM repeater list function, SD memory card slot, and so much more. So go to ICOMAmerica.com/HamNation. After this episode, it's your last chance to register this year, and we'll be announcing the winner of this radio in the first episode in January. One other thing ICOM has recently brought into existence here, ICOM knows that ham clubs play a big part in amateur radio and keeping everyone excited So they're bringing back some things to the ham radio community as a way to give back. They've launched a new promotion exclusively for ham radio clubs and Ham Fest that get together. By registering your club, you could win some ICOM swag, a Skype presentation by maybe even Ray. Or you could be the first with HamFest and ICOM booth set up for your ham club. Register today. It's very simple to do. If you're in the U.S. clubs, go to icomamerica.com/hams, register right there, and let ICOM help you bring more content to your next club or HamFest. And now, through the magic of video recording, here's Don Wilbanks.
From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2146, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, December 19th, 2018. Trouble for AMSAT North America's latest Fox 1 satellite. Newsline anchor Stephen Kinford at N8WB has the nitty-gritty from Satellite City.
We open this week's report with discouraging news for satellite enthusiasts who are looking forward to the commissioning of the newly launched Fox 1 Cliff/AO95 CubeSat. Newsline reported last week that AMSAT North America was preparing for it to become its fourth Fox 1 amateur radio satellite. AMSAT's Vice President of Engineering Jerry Buxton, N0JY, announced that problems with the receiver discovered during the commissioning process has put an end to those plans. The commissioning process began on Tuesday, the 4th of December, but is now at an end. Jerry issued a statement on December 9th saying, quote, "Many of you have probably built a project and had to troubleshoot it on your bench. We are in a troubleshooting situation here with the additional challenge of being 600 kilometers away from our bench," end quote. Meanwhile, he said engineers will continue to evaluate what happened.
The Young Ladies Radio League has just awarded 3 promising amateurs with scholarships to continue their studies.
Readers of YL Harmonics, the official publication of the Young Ladies Radio League, were greeted by 3 smiling faces on the cover of the group's November-December issue. Jordan Mann, W1KXJ, Anna Veal, W0ANT, and Trina Broyce, KI6GZG. And they all have a good reason to smile. They've all been named YLRL scholarship winners, receiving gifts that honor 3 silent keys: Ethel Smith, K4LMB, Martha Wessel, K0EPE, and Mary Lou Brown, NM7N. Jordan is a computer science major at MIT and has been an intern at NASA. Anna, a graduate of the STEM High School in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, plans to study computer science at the University of Colorado. She's also a past winner of Amateur Radio Newsline's Young Ham of the Year Award. Trina, who is a doctoral candidate at Colorado Technical University, has 2 master's degrees and teaches online as an adjunct professor at Brigham Young University. Applications will be open soon for the 2019 scholarships and are due by April. For more information, check the website of the Foundation for Amateur Radio at farweb.org. Meanwhile, congratulations to this year's winners. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Heather Emby, KB3 TZD.
Finally this week, a holiday tradition. This one involving a historic transmitter will be back on the air in Sweden.
Christmas Eve morning will bring coffee, cake and CW for radio enthusiasts who will be gathering at Sweden's World Heritage Grimeton radio station for an annual tradition, the tuning up of the Alexanderson 200 kilowatt transmitter, a relic from 1924. They send out a Christmas message in CW on the very low frequency of 17.2 kilohertz. It's especially significant this year since organisers reluctantly announced the cancellation of last year's scheduled message because of maintenance work needed on the nearly 100-year-old transmitter. The radio station welcomes QSLs and listener reports for this special holiday message by email, direct mail or the Bureau. The email address is info@alexander.n.se. Meanwhile, to mark the event, amateur radio station SK6SAQ will be operating on 3 frequencies using CW on 7.035 kHz or 14.035 or using SSB on 3.755 kHz. The event will be broadcast live on YouTube as the message goes out at 0800 UTC or 9 a.m. local time in Sweden. You will, however, have to supply your own coffee and cake. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With Stephen Kinford, N8WB, Heather MB, KB3TZD, Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. Now here's the solar update with Dr. Tamitha Skov, WX6SWW.
We have many coronal holes that continue to send us pockets of fast solar wind, and solar flux hangs on as a remnant active region is bright enough to boost propagation. Those stories and more in the Shorty this week. Space weather this week has been a bit unsettled. We have these small coronal holes that have been sending us pockets of fast wind. As a matter of fact, we're in a fast wind stream right now, but they just don't last long enough and they're just not strong enough to get us up to storm levels. So aurora photographers, especially at mid-latitudes, the wait continues. As a matter of fact, you'll probably have to wait until we get closer to the end of the year when a large coronal hole will be rotating into the Earth strike zone. But meanwhile, we've been getting some decent shows for aurora at high latitudes, and also these unsettled conditions have boosted radio propagation just a little bit, and it also has helped GPS reception for those of you at low latitudes. Now, on top of that, we do have region 2731. This is now a decayed region. It's lost its designation by NOAA, but it is still bright enough to be boosting that solar flux up into the marginal range. We're dealing with, just kind of the hairy edge of marginal. So amateur radio operators and emergency responders, enjoy the solar flux boost for another couple days before things begin to die down. But don't worry too much, because in about another week, we'll have a new region rotating into Earth view. Switching to your solar storm conditions and aurora possibilities over the coming week, because we're dealing with these small coronal holes that are sending these tiny pockets of fast wind, there's a lot of uncertainty in terms of what we will see. So at high latitudes, NOAA is expecting unsettled conditions, and I've given about 25% chance of a minor storm, but in some predictions, we're seeing as much as a 25% chance of a major storm. But these things will only last for a very short while. And then things should be quieting down just a little bit, but things will be pretty sporadic all throughout the week. Now, at mid-latitudes, we're expecting normal to unsettled conditions with up to a 20% chance of active conditions. But again, most likely not, though most likely won't even get any aurora at mid-latitudes. And these kind of crazy conditions will continue easily through this next week before things settle down, and as we get closer to the end of the year, we get a chance for a real solar storm. Switching to your solar flare and particle radiation storm outlook over the coming week, we essentially have a spotless sun. We have the old region 2731 that has lost its designation. That's why you see it here in parentheses. This region is not a risk for big flares, so we have no risk for radio blackouts right now when everything is in the green. The one thing it is still doing is boosting the solar flux. We are still holding on to low 70s. That means that we're at the low end of marginal for radio propagation. Now, we will likely lose this region as it rotates to the sun's backside right around Christmas Eve. So, we're going to have a little bit of a dip in the solar flux at that time back into poor conditions, which should at least keep some radio amateurs off of the bands during the holiday, which might make their families very happy. But we should get another region that'll rotate back into Earth view here in the next week or so. So you only get a little reprieve before the solar flux will probably boost again. Now, on top of that, because we are at solar minimum, the cosmic ray flux is penetrating far more than it normally would. So all you frequent flyers, and this includes you air crew who fly over 800 hours annually and fly at high latitudes and high altitudes, you are in the marginal range for radiation dose. And this does include you prenatal passengers. So please take this into consideration in your flight plans. So the space weather this week, well, it's kind of a mixed bag. We've got these small pockets of fast wind from these tiny coronal holes on the Earth-facing sun right now that are keeping us at pretty much unsettled conditions. Now, this is good news for aurora photographers at high latitudes. You guys are getting sporadic shows here and there, which is probably keeping you on your toes. But your aurora photographers at mid-latitudes, well, we're probably going to have to wait till maybe a New Year's celebration for that big coronal hole to rotate into the Earth strike zone and give us aurora chances down at mid-latitude. So, be patient. Now, also, amateur radio and shortwave radio responders, well, you guys are enjoying a little bit of a boost right now from these unsettled conditions and from region 2731. That's a remnant region, but it's still bright enough to keep the solar flux up at marginal levels on Earth's day side. So enjoy this propagation for a few more days before things kind of weaken a little bit. And then don't worry, we've got another region that's going to be rotating into Earth view here within the next week or so, and that should boost the solar flux up again for you. Now, the last is we've got GPS operators. Well, you guys, all things considered, GPS reception looks pretty good just about everywhere. I'm Tamitha Scove. Thank you for watching.
Well, thanks for the solar update there, Dr. T. It looks like we've got a little bit of good news for the holidays, maybe for a couple of days anyway. And Don, we think he's behaving tonight. He's at his radio station Christmas party, as Bob mentioned earlier. He shouldn't be in any trouble, but it's in New Orleans, so I don't know if they had it on Bourbon Street or where they had it. So we'll have to look for a report from him next week. And now the new segment that Randy's been working on. He's been asking for photos of people's projects, and he finally got enough to put together this great segment here. For a first run, what are you building?
This is the first Show Us Your Project Ham Nation video. Many of our viewers have sent in projects. This is Randy, K7AGE. We have a lot to show you tonight. The first video up tonight is from Seth, KD0SBV. While working at a bicycle event, he spotted this nice antenna mount and decided to build one for himself. He checked around and looked at many of the various commercial mounts that he could use to build such a thing, and what he found was one from Walmart for $28 basically, and he was able to make up an adapter, and basically he has this pipe that fits down into the hitch mount, which then his fiberglass painter's pole can be slid into, and this can hold his VHF, UHF vertical antenna for events. And our next project is from Rich, K9WWW. Rich bought a used Yaesu VX-8R to play around with APRS, but it didn't work. So he cracked open the GPS module that fits on the top of the radio and found out that it had sustained water damage and damaged the GPS module. Doing some research, he found a U-Blocks NEO-M8N GPS module that would fit inside. In working on this project, he learned that the VX-8R does not accept a standard NEMA GPS data sentence. He was able to configure the GPS module to send the latitude and longitude to the radio, and at least it was happy with that, and he was able to start with APRS. His next project is to program an Arduino to fit in that case to convert what comes out of the GPS module into the format that the Yaesu will recognize for all of its needs. Very cool. Jason's been busy working on interfacing 3 pieces of equipment. He's starting off with his Android phone running the Android version of FL Digi through a Whoopee-Link sound interface. It outputs to a cable, and now he's working on the cross-connecting of the cable to go into his ICOM ID51 to the 2.5 and the 3.5 millimeter connectors. He's been having some issues getting it to work, as when he plugs it in, the radio goes into transmit. He's been watching my videos and working with Wolfgang at Whoopee-Link and trying to sort out the interface. So it looks like he's using a breadboard here, which allows him to easily try different combinations here to get the interface working. When it's all done, solder all up and heat shrink it together, and Jason will be running. Very good. Bill, K4OOO, has built himself a battery box using a lithium iron phosphate battery. He found the battery box on Amazon that fit the battery. It was about $11. He said the power switch was $4 from an auto parts store. He doesn't remember the cost of the voltmeter, but he thought it was about $4. He had the rest of the parts, the lugs and the binding posts and wires in order to build the battery box. He says working with the plastic was easy, it drills easy, and you can use an X-Acto knife to cut out the rectangular hole. A few of his club members have also duplicated his battery box project, and he wraps it up by saying, at my age, lighter and smaller is better. Nice battery box, Bill. Bruce, KC1FSZ, has sent in photos of 3 projects that he's been working on. This first is a direct conversion receiver that he's built, and just by looking at the picture, I can see a few things. There's a digital display for frequency on the front, which means there's probably like an Arduino feeding an SI5351 VFO oscillator chip. I can see 4 crystals for a crystal filter, and looks like it's built using Manhattan-style technique, which is little square pieces of printed circuit board material mounted on top of the main board to give you isolation and a place to use as a solder pad. So Bruce is certainly a die-hard homebrew builder. His second project here is a digital mode transmitter. So this is a QRP RTTY/Whisper transmitter. So there's a little processor board there, the little blue board on the green board. Generates the signals. It feeds over to the QRP transmitter. I can see a few discrete parts stuck up in the air and a bunch of toroids for the output bandpass filter. And the third project is a single conversion superhet transceiver for 40 meters. And again, this is a very complex homebrew project. Again, you can see a display on the front left there, which means another Arduino and a synthesizer chip, and a board full of parts there across the back. A very complex homebrew project. And Bruce says these are all built on pine board. Nice projects, Bruce. Great work. Thanks for sharing. And we have another battery build project here from Bob, K8EIO. Inside here, he's got 2 lithium 4.6 amp hour batteries in this $6 plastic ammo can. He's got enough power here to run his Elecraft KX3 and, if he needs, his KPA 100 watt amplifier. He can also use this to power his ICOM IC2730. He says the entire box weighs in at 6 pounds 4 ounces and provides 2 USB ports, a 12-volt lighter socket, 4 30-amp power pole sockets, and 2 binding posts. He charges this at home across his 30-amp switching power supply, and the whole combination acts as a UPS to drive his radios. He says this was a little expensive to build, around $220, because each battery back in 2013 cost $90. He says there's more battery options today. Nice battery build box. Lots of I/O on there. Very useful. Nice job, Bob. And our last project is a QRP antenna tuner from Alden, K5ABL. He's designed this to go along with his MicroBitX QRP transceiver. Alden likes to minimize hand wiring, so he develops printed circuit boards for his projects. He's also included 2 switches here, one to bypass the tuner and the other to switch in a 50 ohm dummy load. So Alden offers the printed circuit board by itself, or as a kit, or as a completed unit. This looks like it might be a really interesting little antenna tuner project. So I'd like to say thanks for everybody who sent in photos and descriptions of their projects. I know we all really enjoy seeing what other people are building. So if there's something that you're building, something that's on your bench, something that you're putting together, and you'd like to show it to the Ham Nation viewers, send some pictures and a description to me, Randy, K7AGE, at K7AGE@outlook.com. That's K7AGE @outlook.com. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Well, great job there, Randy. And thanks to everyone who submitted their photos and ideas there and descriptions of what they were building. That's really fun to see what other people are doing. And one, I'm going to, I don't know, he may have figured it out by now, but Jason was working on the Android interface there with the ID51, and I believe he had not solved that yet. Looking at the breadboard, he probably had not. that is, they do it differently on that handy talkie, and I just wanted to share something here with him or anyone who's trying to interface with it. A little schematic right here. I was trying to do this recently, and I had to do a lot of searching to come up with this, but there it is right there. If you look at that bottom connector, that's a microphone jack. You see the push-to-talk button there is connecting a 33 k ohm resistor to ground on the same lead that the mic audio is on. That's the trick to getting the push-to-talk to work on the ID51. It's a little different, but that's how you do it. So I just wanted to share that so anyone working on that could maybe cut to the chase and get there a little quicker. It's a little finicky, but, you can get that to work that way. Oh, let's see. I wanted to mention a couple of other things. Well, what I have been building, since we're talking about projects, I think this last episode of Amateur Logic we just posted, we shot this past weekend, I did what to me personally was the coolest project I had done all year. And I'd like you to go take a look at it. It's an enhanced DTMF controller using an Arduino and some just very few parts. The whole thing is very inexpensive. It talks. It accepts a password, so not just anybody can control your rig. And it's got a lot of extra other little features, just demonstrating some of the kind of things that you can do with an Arduino when you tie it to a radio. Seriously, go take a look at it over the holidays if you get a chance. Amateur Logic episode 124. And, as a bonus, Tommy put together one of the, or actually, he didn't write the software, but he re-imaged his D-Star hotspot, and it was so cool I had to do it myself. I think it's probably the best hotspot software that's out there right now, Pi-Star. He stepped us through it, and it's very simple to do. A great, I think, much improved hotspot software that works with a lot of different devices, and it's not just D-Star. It's DMR, Fusion, and a handful of other modes too. So Pi-Star, really neat hotspot software there. So go check that out. And last week I had asked a question, what popular device greatly increases the speed of tuning an antenna for resonance? Well, I was talking about an antenna analyzer, and I guess that threw everybody off. They thought, surely that can't be it, because a lot of folks said an antenna tuner. Well, yeah, you probably wouldn't use an antenna tuner on VHF or UHF. I was just asking in general, what would help you tune your antenna for resonance quickly? Well, it's an antenna analyzer, nothing special there. And Richard DePass, K9WWW, got it right. And he says, a good antenna analyzer can greatly speed up tuning an antenna to resonance. So congratulations there, Richard. You got that one correct. And, I didn't even write down what the prize was here, but I remember what it was. I don't have it handy, but it's that DX Engineering Silkscreen T-shirt. Great, comfortable T-shirt there. DX Engineer is going to be sending that to you, Rich, and they probably have been in contact with you by now. So I do want to mention on Randy's project there, now that you see what it's about, have you got some photos and description of your projects you want to share? Well, send just photos, no videos of what you've been building, soldering, wrenching, and drilling to Randy at K7AGE@outlook.com. K7AGE@outlook.com. And your project could be in a future episode of, and what the doc says here is what you've been building, but I think Randy called it Show Us Your Project. So anyway, that cool segment of what people are building. We want to know. That was a lot of fun. And now here's Don with a message from Rocket Mortgage.
This episode of Ham Nation is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. What, you may ask, does a mortgage have to do with ham radio? Well, you're likely going to need a place to put your antenna and your radio, and that's going to require a yard and a house, and that's probably going to require a mortgage. So let's talk about buying a home for a minute, because, well, you got to put your radio somewhere, right? Because of rising interest rates, there's a lot of unpredictability when it comes to buying a home these days. Quite frankly, it's the cause of a lot of anxiety with some folks, and that is why our friends at Quicken Loans are doing something about it. It's called the power buying process, and it's really pretty simple. Step 1, answer a few simple questions. They'll check your credit for pre-qualified approval. Step 2, Quicken Loans will verify your income, assets, and credit in less than 24 hours to give you a verified approval. That gives you the strength of a cash buyer. Now, Step 3, once you're verified, you qualify for their all-new exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, they'll lock up your rate for up to 90 days while you shop. Now, the best part is, if the rates go up, your rates stay the same. But if the rates go down, your rate also drops. So it's a win-win. It's the kind of thinking you would expect from America's largest mortgage lender, right? So to get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/HamNation. Rate Shield approval is only valid on certain 30-year purchase transactions. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply. Based on Quicken Loans data in comparison to public data records. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030. That's rocketmortgage.com/HamNation. And Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, we thank you so much for your support of Ham Nation.
Well, thank you very much, Don. And hello to George there talking about the Pi-Star. That was a fantastic little device. We use it here on our hotspot, and it is outstanding. You can do almost all of the digital modes, and it's very easy to program and set up. But we're all about videos here in the video segment. So tonight we've got 3. We'll jump in, kick things off. We'll start off with an amateur radio celebration of Independence Day in Finland. It's on AM. It's with English subtitles, and that's a little bit different. OH7T, it's Tim, sent us this link. Let's watch.
Ivari 7 Arneakse taas, OH7 Taunu.
OH7 Taunu tässä on Ivari 7 Arneakse kautta Sakari. Huomenne Teme, ja tässä paljon on liikennettä, mutta nyt tuli 5-9, että mitäs tää tulee Teme, koet?
Mulle tulee 5-9 ja plussat päällä ihan loistavasti, ei mitään ongelmaa. Täällä ollaan kotosalla ja ihmetellään tätä Aarne-Matti-modulaatio.
No niin, näetään. Hyvin se tulee sieltä ja tässä on liikennettä kovastikin nyt. Keli on aika hyvä tällä AM-lläkin. Ei kummempaa. Kiitos yhteydestä ja hyvät itsenäisyyspäivät sinne. On 7 Tyynä tässä. Otto Ivari 7 Arneakse kautta Sakari, koet.
Otto Ivari 7 Arneakse. Oikein loistavaa itsenäisyyspäivää ja kiitoksia yhteydestä, Manu. Kuulostellaan toisempana. OH7 Taunu.
Well, that was fun. And thanks, Tim, for contributing to Ham Nation from Europe. Well, Bob forwarded a few shack photos that people had sent in to him during the past month, and we're going to take a look now, starting off with a rebuilt shack by AA5CF. His name is Ken. Ken bought his first receiver as a novice in 1974. His budget was $30. And with the prices on radios today, youngsters can be happy that they can experiment with the RTL SDR USB sticks. They cost about $25 for a pretty decent quality one. So maybe things do tend to stay the same. I don't know. Let's look now to another photo from Ken, another Ken, W0ERE. He has a new Drake set up in his shack. Nice. The focus of his Missouri operation is experimenting. His motto, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Check out now another great photo from Ken. How'd he pull this off? The timing to capture that lightning strike on his tower. Wow, that's something else. Well, let's go down under now to New Zealand. We've got a photo from Simon, ZL2FAE. who's very active on the chat room. The VHF contest is coming up right after the first of the year down in New Zealand. So he sent us some photos, 2 of them, in fact, from his participation in years past. You saw the shot where he was assembling his beams at the top of his mast, and here's the result. It must have been quite a challenge to raise that mast. He's on the lookout now for the antenna launcher that Bob's been talking about on a recent segment. Thanks a lot, Simon, for those photos. And finally, on the photo front from Mike, he's KB8Z India Lima. He served as an Elmer for a new class of license holders at Michigan State University. Their club grew to 11 after this past weekend. They were all successful in passing their license test. Mike awarded each one of them a Heil Ham Radio Handbook. Keep up the great work, Mike. That's what we need to get all these youngsters into amateur radio. It's a good for you for being an Elmer. Well, moving back to video now, our second video features Larry. You know Larry, WD0AKX. Tonight he makes a contact with an astronaut on the International Space Station. Enjoy.
Hi everyone, Larry, WD0AKX. A little while ago I was able to make contact with one of the astronauts on the International Space Station by ham radio during an overhead pass. So I did capture some of that on video. So let's take a look.
On this first pass, Serena Anand is talking to students answering questions at Texas A&M using ham radio.
We're getting used to no gravity, so it was a really, I guess, kind of creepy feeling for the first couple hours, but it was fantastic. I think actually unexpected applications we've learned over the past...
Traveling at over 17,000 miles per hour above the Earth's surface right now.
So crystals really like to grow up here. They grow really big. The 3D structure, the quality is much better. So we're actually looking at a study right now for Parkinson's disease, and this is a disease that can affect all kinds of people, certainly United States, around the world, and we're growing these crystals. They can find an area to target for a special medication to help treat Parkinson's disease. And this was something unexpected. They did not expect this, but when they began to see how these crystals were growing, they got really excited up here. Over.
This is now the second pass, and I will have about a 10-minute window to attempt contact with the International Space Station.
Beautiful pass over the States.
Whiskey Delta Zero Alpha Kilo X-ray.
Whiskey Delta Zero Alpha Kilo X-ray. Anyone is that?
Hello, this is Larry in Minnesota. Nice to talk with you.
Oh, Minnesota. Man, we're kind of a low pass for you guys, huh?
Yes, you are. I am running a vertical antenna, which is not the best way to do this, but it's working for me.
That is super clear up here. Nice equipment.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the contact. I'll let you make some more from Whiskey Delta Zero Alpha Kilo X-ray.
K5KOK. Anyone is that? Absolutely. Say good evening to everybody in Oklahoma. Whiskey 8 Alpha Radio Tango. Anyone is that? Hey, Wisconsin, how you doing? November 8 Mike Sierra, anyone SF? Say hello to Michigan. Whiskey 5 India Papa Alpha, this is anyone SF. Hello, Jason in Massachusetts.
NA1SS is the ham radio call sign to the International Space Station, and it is out of range, as you can see on the map right now. 7-3, and thanks for watching from WD0AKX, Radio Ham Guy on YouTube.
Well, thanks, Larry. That was fantastic. And if you do get a chance out there, do check out Larry's YouTube channel. He's got some nice ham radio videos there. Well, we selected our last video this evening to get you in the mood for the Winter Field Day 2019. That's coming up, maybe just a little bit more than a month away at the end of January. And Phil, N1UNH, put together a nice video during Winter Field Day 2018. I hope you enjoy it.
Hey everyone, it's Winterfield Day, and it's an amateur radio operating event, and happens once a year. And I thought I'd get out today and see if I could make a few contacts. So I came to this place. Going to throw an antenna up in the tree and maybe make a fire. See if we can make a few contacts along the way. And it's a nice warm day out. It's probably in the low 40s, maybe 41, 42 degrees. So it's going to be nice and comfortable. So let's see what we can do. And let's get to it. November 1, uniform, November Hotel.
Copy November 1, uniform, November Hotel. Please copy 3 Oscar, Golf Tango Alpha, QSL.
QSL, please copy 1 Oscar, November Hotel, 1 Oscar, New Hampshire, QSL.
QSL, the 1 Oscar, November Hotel. Thanks very much for New Hampshire, and good luck in the contest, 7-3.
7-3, have fun.
Number 1, uniform, November Hotel. Please copy 2 Oscar, India, Lima.
QSL, please copy 1 Oscar, November Hotel, 1 Oscar, New Hampshire.
Thanks for the new stake. Wonderful. 73, and have a great contest.
7-3, glad to help out. Have fun.
CQ Field Day, Kilo 9, Charlie, uniform.
November 1, uniform, November Hotel.
November 1, uniform, November Hotel, 1 Hotel, Mike Delta Charlie.
QSL, please copy 1 Oscar, November Hotel, 1 Oscar, New Hampshire. 1 Oscar, 1 Oscar.
1 Oscar in New Hampshire,
QSL, 7-3, have fun.
Okay, thanks, 7-3. QRZ at Winterfield Day.
November 1, uniform, November Hotel.
November station again?
November 1, uniform, November Hotel.
November 1, uniform, November Hotel?
Roger, Roger. Please copy 1 Oscar, November Hotel.
QSL, please copy 8 India, Mike India. That is 8 indoors in Island, Michigan.
QSL, 7-3, and good luck and have fun.
Thank you so much. 73.
Made half a dozen or so quick contacts. It's kind of fun. Propagation is pretty good. There's a lot of people on today. They're hearing us pretty well with our 5 watts on the KX2, and it's a little warm for a fire, so I think I'm going to forego that. But it's a good day for a little bit of hot chocolate, so I think we'll fire up the stove and get something to drink. Well, that's it. The Winter Field Day ends at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and that's the appointed hour. So we're all done here. I've packed up everything and enjoyed my hot cocoa. But it's time to go. So I'm out of here. Until next time, thanks for coming by, and we'll see you later.
Well, thank you very much, Phil, for that lesson in how to enjoy, get real laid back and enjoy Winter Field Day. And you can do that. Everyone's invited, I know, in about a month, toward the end of January, the Winter Field Day 2019 will be kicking off. Hope we get to see a video from you about your Winter Field Day. Well, that's it for the last Ham Nation video segment of 2018. Hopefully, we'll receive a few great videos from you during the next 2 or 3 weeks that will make it possible for us to feature you and show your video to our Ham Nation audience in early January. Remember, we are dependent on the video segment here on you, the Ham Nation viewer. We hope you'll send us your shack photos and your videos. We love them all. So if you have questions about producing a video, please send me an email at HamNationVideos@twit.tv. Jot down that email address there at the bottom of the screen. If you have those questions, we'll be glad to help and try to get answers for you, help you produce a video for Ham Nation here. And as we close, we take a brief moment here to wish you, every one of you, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year for 2019 for your family and all your friends also. It's time now to visit our Ham Radio or Ham Nation studio in Canyon City, Colorado. Good evening, Amanda. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you as well, Dale, and everyone else watching out there. It's been a special year, really, I'll tell you. I do have to show off a couple of cute things. I know everyone knows we went to Last Man Standing Set Studio last week, but KV4OP, Ricardo, his wife is a gem. She sent these cookies to the studio to greet us, and I have to show these out. They're so cute. Look at that. I can't eat it. And Delta's right here. She's on my lap here, ready to steal these cookies from me. But they're so cute. And she made so many. She made some that has my call sign on it. I know it's not very lit up. She made some high heel ones for Cindy to take home. She made them with all of our call signs on there. Just adorable. Thank you. And I think her name is Daisy. Daisy, you're awesome. Thank you so much for that. And I have a video to show you guys about some of the operating. It was really fun. Ray Novak and Cindy Novak were there with us. So they operated D-Star while we did HF. Made 101 contacts on HF and 42 on D-Star. We've got a lot of people in the logs, and I really appreciated talking to everyone. The conditions were horrible. But Victor, if you want to play that video, everyone can kind of see and then check it out. Okay, I heard a 7 call in there, try. Kilo Charlie 7 Foxtrot. Kilo Charlie 7 Foxtrot Papa Foxtrot. Hi, Kevin in Florida. Nice to hear you. Oh, got it. Thanks, Kevin, so much for the contact. 73 QRZKA6 LMS. Is that November Echo 0 Bravo Bravo?
November Echo 0 Delta Bravo.
Oh, hey, how are you doing?
5
Okay, Rita, nice to hear you. This is Amanda from Colorado.
Amanda, I know you're in Jeff. I'm Rita. I'm in Pueblo West, over.
Yeah, Rita, nice to hear you. Thanks for the contact. You're about a 5 and 7 here into California today.
Thank you. Good luck, Amanda.
7-3, Rita. Have a good one. QRZ, KA6LMS.
Thank you very much, Glenn. We have you in the log.
Now, I don't know if all of you know, but Jets plays Boyd on Last Man Standing, and he was kind of hovering around while we were working operations, and he listened in on HF first, and I think it almost made him turn green because it was so loud and so noisy. The conditions were horrible. And then somebody on the studio, I don't know who it was, gave him some headsets to listen to the D-Star operations going on, and he lit up. Look at this kid. He gets big smiles making these contacts. And Ray Novak, you couldn't ask for a better Elmer, right? So Ray's kind of catching the call signs, and he's probably shown them on the computer screen at this point in time. And Jets he probably made about 20 D-Star contacts. Now, I'll let you listen to him. He does a super fantastic job. He follows everything Ray does. So listen in here.
0D.
Or EOD.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's my buddy John.
Oh, cool.
Kilo Delta Zero Echo.
Try it again. N8 EOW.
N8 EOD.
On November 8th, Echo, Oscar Delta. Name is John, and we're in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Nice to hear you. You're my second contact with K6LMS. First time on fire.
Tell him thank you.
Nice to hear from you as well, John. Thank you so much.
QSL credit, email.
Thanks for West Texas there. We appreciate it, and hope to work you on again next week.
Come on.
73.
W8. Delta, Mike Charlie Delta.
Yep. WA8, Mike Charlie Delta.
Kilo 5.
WA8 MCD.
With the WA8 MCD. We just want to get in here and wish everyone a Merry Christmas. My name's Gary, George Adam Radio. We're in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Thank you so much, Gary. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Looking for any more 8s, please quick key.
Looking for any more 8s in quick key?
He got it. That's
Okay, nothing heard. Looking for zone 9. W9 MJM.
73 QRZ KA6LMS.
Well, good evening, and thank you for picking me up. Say hi to Tim and everybody on the show. Glad that Fox picked him up. And that ugly guy that's probably sitting next to you doing all the logging. Merry Christmas, Ray. Hope everything goes well for you. Whiskey 9 Mike, Juliet Mike, Scottsdale, Arizona. Back to net control.
Okay,
thank you so much. We're both laughing here. See you soon.
Okay, KC9.
KC9ZJF.
Oh, Mike.
We have KC9 Mike and Woodruff, and wave to Ray and to Amanda and Jeff. And it sounds like you have a good pilot going, so let's go. Have a good rest of your
I hope it snows more.
Snows more?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mike, and I hope it snows more for you.
Oh, he's in Wisconsin.
Yes, he is. He's a friend of mine.
Oh, he's in Wisconsin?
Yeah, they've got like 8 feet of snow right now.
Ask for any more 9s, please, quick key.
So you guys are back on the air. Merry Christmas and 73 and 7 MWL.
Thank you very much, Bill. Merry Christmas to you as well. KA6LMS, we're going to have to call it a night here. Thank you all for listening.
I cannot tell you how much fun we had on that set. First of all, Cindy and Ray and Jeff and I, we got to meet Nancy Travis. That was an awesome time. We sat in the stands and we were with the audience, and they had this comedian that comes on to get the audience really excited and do all the laughing he basically makes you practice laughing because, they tape it live and they want your voice laughing in the backgrounds in the funny parts of the show. So this comedian comes on and he made us feel like VIPs. He introduced Ray, Cindy, Jeff, and I, and made us feel very, very special being there. Other things, John Amadeo treated us so kindly and made sure everything was taken care of. And him and Rob, I don't know Rob's last name, AA6RA, they put together this set for us to operate in, and I kid you not, 10 or 12 minutes, and they hustled. And this, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a spoiler on this episode that we watched film. Tim Allen actually operates from that radio on the show. Well, fake operates, but he sat right where we sat and did a segment of the show there. So it was so exciting. Then we got the VIP access to food. I think it was sushi night. It was so much fun. I just can't even explain. And I'll tell you some of the parts of the setup. They run on very limited stuff there. First of all, their roof is full of solar panels, so they don't have much room to put on an antenna or anything like that. They can't operate over 100 watts. John told us that CBS West News is the building next door, so they definitely don't want to be interfering with anything. So you can't run an amplifier in there or anything, and thank goodness for that because it was smoking hot in there already. I didn't need any more heat. It was pretty warm under all those lights. But it's just an amazing experience. And I know not everyone gets to operate from there. But if you ever have the chance to just get the tickets, which are free, I believe, to just go see the filming of the show, it's an amazing experience. I could sit here for an hour and talk about all the stuff that we saw and how things work, but it was just super fantastic. So, Bob, anybody have any questions about what happened out there?
Well, we all know you had a lot of fun. I can tell you that. Been there a couple of times. John Amadeo is the super guy because he put all this together. It was his idea. And when he came to us and wanted to know if we could help, well, Ray and I jumped in, and the next thing you know, boom, it's there. So it keeps ham radio out and alive to the outside world. That's the one thing that I see about it. No matter who's on it, that background's always covered with ham radio. So that's great. And it's just not a fixture. It works as you approve. So you had a lot of fun, and I'm sure glad you went. That's great. Just a wonderful time that you had. And hope that everybody goes to. You can do that. Just there's all kinds of shows you can go see and get. You got to get tickets for it, but have fun. Well, we've had an awfully good time here tonight. It'll go down as a special show, and I want to make sure that everybody knows what happens on WTWW when you turn these dial. Get ready for WTWW Saturday night. We're doing a lot of Christmas stuff this weekend, so be sure you catch WTWW. They've got a very special Christmas. Actually, it's a Christmas weekend, and you want to call them. This is the deal. You can call that number and be on the air and tell everybody Merry Christmas or whatever. So leave a message, and it will play. Probably around the globe, the way that station covers. So please go check it out and tell your friends. A lot of people don't know. They think shortwave died. Oh, no, it's alive and really well. And we're especially proud to have them simulcast. You go there right now, you'll hear this show. So check it out. WTWW 5.085 is a Saturday night. We're firing up the Wurlitzer for my favorite music, Christmas music. So that's one of the things I want to get in. And we'll look forward to seeing you here next week. However, we're going to be on tape, I guess we could call it. It would in my life, tape. The best of. So let's see what's going from there. Amanda, you have some information about the best of. What's best of for you? Probably.
I wish it wasn't my best of work, but I do think that me bringing on the guests to talk about the emergency communications that they handle in their areas and everyone taking lessons from that and learning what we actually do in an MCOM situation. That's my most important thing. I'm glad I'm getting that out there. I just wish it didn't actually happen. Darn you, Mother Nature.
Well, I agree with that. Gordo, are you still back? Did you get back with us, Gordo?
No,
I'm
he's
not sure if he was going to be back or not. George, you still there?
I am still here, Bob, and I'm not sure what my best of is. I sent Victor 3 or 4 ideas, and I said, just pick out something. So he hasn't told me yet. So we'll both find out next Wednesday night.
Well, you guys all know what I would think you would know what my best one is. This kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The pine board.
We cannot, with the show, we cannot forget how much exposure we got with the front cover of January and then got the award. Oh my gosh, the cover award. So I was really happy and quite blessed that Ham Nation awarded that. But better than this, many of you, we're talking hundreds, and you're going to say, how do you know that? We know that because of the parts that have been bought and still buying. This thing is not over. So the Pine Board project here on Ham Nation was really something, and it's still alive. Just go to Heil Sound, HEIL SOUND. All of the videos are there. There's pages and pages and pages, so it's still there. So that has to be mine, I'm sure. Dale, did you stay with us?
Yes, Bob. We're still here and enjoying everything. Really enjoyed the Last Man Standing thing from Amanda, and might say while we're talking about it, enjoyed all her pictures of her tours and trips and things around the beach in L.A., and it was very interesting there on Facebook. But we don't really have anything the best of this year, but hopefully next year we can produce a few ourselves, and we'll have something to add to the collection. That's about it, Bob.
All right. There's what I forgot. I couldn't find it. There's the big deal. So very good. Well, Merry Christmas to everybody. I'm going to take my little Christmas and go down and fire it up. You make a guy happy by giving him a little transmitter, right? Thanks very much to each one of you for watching, being there every Wednesday, and not only Wednesday. A lot of people might not think about all of the replays that are shown. So check us all out. Send us cards and letters and all that, and let us know what you like, don't like. We're going to try to bring some new segments on. We already got the one from Randy, so keep us posted. And, of course, last but certainly not least is Victor. Victor, we drive Victor crazy. This is the most complicated show of all that Leo has on the network. And we're also proud to announce to you that Leo told us when Randy and I were there that it's one of the top shows. And that's because of you. You make this a top show, and we appreciate it. But we're all learning things together, and it's really fun to bring you all of these great people each week here on Ham Nation. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we will see you in 2019. This is Bob Heil and all of the people that make ham radio a big deal on Wednesday night on Leo Laporte's Twit Network.